Hey guys, it's May 25th, 2022, and today I'm going to get to introduce a brand new free stitch along called Granny Squared. And after that, I came up with a couple different items to do as stitch alongs for the summer. And then I'm going to show you lots of new things that we have in the shop and just different things I'm working on, and we're going to wrap up Maynia. So I only had 7 things for Maynia, but by next week all 7 should be hopefully done. So we'll start with this item, and this is the Granny Square Stitch Along. Both of these pieces were designed by Lori Holt. Sorry. They're both designed by Lori Holt, and they're going to be a completely free PDF. It releases on May 27th, which is Friday. And so you'll have to wait 2 days to get it. But basically, it's a design. You can do one granny square. We'll zoom in a little bit. You can do one granny square, 4, or you can like you could do like a ton. You could do 10 by 10. There's a lot you can do. So because it's not coming out until Friday, I'm going to tell you what you need in case you do want to do this. Now the pattern is going to be completely free, and what I am going to stitch on, these samples were stitched by Cheryl, and they're pretty quick. I mean, it's a quick stitch. If you want to stitch on what Lori recommends, she's recommending the Cloud 25 count Evenweave Lugana. Now you could do this on any cloth, and these are really small, so because they're so small, you probably have something in your stash that you could use. The large one is 39 stitches by 39 stitches. And then what we decided to do is we're going to use the Prim Aura Floss box because a lot of you already have it, because we used it in the Prim Village cross stitch pattern about I don't know, 2 years ago. And so we just figured a lot of you already have it. It would be easy to convert, but we needed something that had a ton of colors. So I think it uses all the colors in the box. And there is a DMC equivalent on the pattern that's going to come out Friday if you want to use DMC. So what we're going to do is, if you're ready to do that, just get some white fabric and some floss. And then next week, what you can look forward to is we're going to finish these in 2 different frames. And I wanted to tell you that the small vintage frame by Lori Holt that we sell fits this. And if you wanted to, you could paint it, but I actually think it looks really great in the white. So we're going to finish ours, and we'll show you next week what we finish it in. I think you could probably stitch this in maybe 2 or 3 hours, pretty quick. And I'm going to be stitching it on the Stitchy Talk that's in a week and a half. And that will be June 7th. And I kind of thought about Stitchy Talk, and what I'm going to do is talk through when I stitch this, what I think is the best direction to go in terms of not making a mistake, because there's a lot of holes. So that's what I'm going to focus on Stitchy Talk, and you know, kind of what order I'm going to go in. Now of course with this you could just mix and match. You could make this a really big piece. So oh, and then this came in yesterday. This is the brand new Daisy Bee in My Bonnet enamel needle minder. It is so cute. It is the cutest needle minder we've ever done. And the first color that Lori did is yellow. So we will do these. They're going to be a one-time run. So once the color sells out, we'll do the next color. Then when that color sells out, we'll do the next color. So that's the first announcement for the summer. And it's going to be, I think there's going to be a ton of you that do a lot of fun stuff with it. I think this would be really cute if you put this on the front of a stitchy bag, or you just took this and turned it into a bag. There's so many things you could do with it. We're going to frame ours, but of course there's so many things you can do with it. So definitely, I bet a lot of you finish it on Friday when we release it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one in June. I'm going to do like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and just space it out. because I kind of tend to do that with everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do with it. I do think this would be really cute too if you put it, like framed it in a little hoop. So that is the Granny Square Stitch Along, designed by Lori Holt, and it's a completely free pattern for you guys. It's coming out on Friday. The next thing I wanted to show you, we talked about last week, but I went ahead and started it a little bit. So last week, if you weren't able to join us, definitely go back and watch. We had Kathy from Hands On Design, and she did a trunk show, and it was so much fun. It's the longest live stream I've ever done. And when I was at Needlework Market, she had season 2, A Year of Celebrations out, and she had all of them individually finished. And this is a bow, and what she did is she put a little pin, and the pin just goes in and holds the bow. And when I was looking at it, I really loved it. And she has, if you don't want to do them individually, because I've done so many monthly pieces individually, like if you think of my cottages of the month, samplers of the month. And I really did enjoy last year when I did the one that was horizontal monthly markings. I really love that, and I love how it looks in my house when I hung it up. So I thought, let me do another one like that. So I'm going to do mine using the free border layout. So this is a free border layout. To get it, you go to Hands On Design, you search for the pattern, click into the pattern, and scroll down about that much, and there's a PDF hyperlink to this. So what I did last week after the live stream is I picked my fabric and all of my thread. So if you want to make it like me, this right here is VC 25 Prim. It's Lori Holt's Prim Lugana. And I used Tropical Paradise to do the border. The border took me like 3 or 4 hours. I don't know, maybe 5, 6. I don't even remember. I'll show you in my book when I look in a little bit, because I'm going to show you my books. So I stitched this. It took me Saturday and Sunday. 4 hours is what it took me. So pretty easy. And we are putting together a thread set, and that thread set's going to be very detailed. It's going to tell you month by month where I put my colors. And that will not be coming out until July. And the reason why is we have to have time to get the thread ordered, and we kind of went back and forth on a couple of colors. But if you wanted to start before that thread pack came out, you just need the pattern, download the border on her site. I'm using 25 Prim, and for the border I used Tropical Paradise, and it took 2 skeins. And so mine will be more Kimberly colors, and when you see it, you'll see the colors that we picked. And the information will also be on the blog, but it will only release on the blog the month of the item. But if you get the thread pack, you get the conversion for the entire series. That's the benefit of the thread pack. And we do have a thread pack of Kathy's colors. So you can wait and just see, do you like Kathy's colors or my colors better? But we do have Kathy's colors in stock. But I wanted to let you know this isn't going to start until July. But I couldn't stop myself from making it. And I thought, you know what? If other people want to join this and they want to do it like me, if you get the border done, it really is going to make the rest of it go smoother. So I do think what I'm going to do is we're going to start in July. So that would be down here. And if you look, each of them have a banner. So I'm actually going to start in July, but if I have, and I'll do the whole thing, but I might go ahead and do a couple of the banners just to kind of have all the banners done. And it's going to, I can tell you that the letters we're using right here, the color is going to be more of a navy. And then we're going to have, you know, pinks, reds, aquas, greens, similar colors to what I usually do. So if you have any questions, let me know. But we aren't going to start until July. But I just thought, you know, let me just get this project started. I was so excited after last week's live stream. So I went ahead and stitched this. It was actually a lot easier than I thought. And that is how the back looks. So that is our second new item for the summer. And then, see, I just keep adding stuff. I can't help myself. So when we had Kathy on last week, she was showing and talking about how her laundry company series has a bonus in each, where if you stitch it all in one, you get a one piece that says wash, dry, fold. So as soon as the live stream was done, I ran downstairs, I placed an order for the patterns, and decided that I am going to stitch this over the summer. So I'm going to stitch this, let's see, I'm going to stitch this on marble white pine board. And this is the one we used on another piece. But on this, I'm going to stitch it June 1st, June 8th, and June 15th. And I'm going to make it horizontal. And I decided years and years ago, I used hickory sticks to do the Heart and Home by Needle Bling Designs pattern where it said home. And I use it, it's out all the time in my house, and I love the color of it. So I thought for sure I'm going to make, and I think this one has aqua letters with brown accents, but I think what I'm going to do is brown letters with aqua accents instead. And we're going to take a vote and see if you think really tealy would be a better accent. So it'll be reversed, the blue and the brown I'm going to reverse. And I am going to, I cut my piece much bigger because what I'm going to do, I usually use 2 inches all the way around. But I did 4 inches around because when I frame it, I want to be able to leave a lot of space open. Like I'm probably going to leave an inch, inch and a half, maybe even 2 inches when I get it framed. And I'm going to base that once I finish it. I'm going to actually like put it like where I know I'm going to put it in my house and kind of measure and see what is going to look the best before I take it to the framer. And I think this is going to be super easy. I mean, this will probably be maybe a 6, you know, maybe a 6-hour project, maybe not even less, but it'll definitely fit my house. So definitely I want to see in the poll what you guys vote for. I did want to point out that when you look at this one, you see how fat it is. This is what I do when I, like this is a normal skein and this is a normal skein. When I have several skeins, I combine them when I store it, and I pulled this from my stash. So I will be doing this, so you can definitely join me if you want. It's going to be really cute, I think. And I love the fabric. I'm going to kind of tilt it so you can kind of see. Just kind of wanted it to look like it had a little bit of wood to it. So that is my third item. And then I do have one more because I don't know, last week I just was so exuberant and just kept adding, and I just really kept adding stuff. It looks like Really Tealy is winning in the colors. So in Maynia, I started the first 2 in this series, and then last week, Summer Refreshes arrived. And this is by Summer House Stitch Works, and there's going to be 4, 1 for each season. And like I had told you guys earlier, I'm going to make all 4. Once I have all 4 done, I'm actually going to take this to the framer and say, find me a frame similarly. And each of these patterns, what I really like about it is it uses 3 DMC colors. That's it. That's so easy. Who doesn't have 3 DMC colors? So I'm going to stitch this as it is designed. I am stitching on Espresso 14 count Aida by Fiber on a Whim, and we bought one big piece and cut it into 4. And so all of mine will be on the same, and this didn't take me very long either. But this one, I did want to point out, this one has, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it divided it 8 times. But when I start showing Maynia, you'll see that the first 2 have 6. So this one, I'm going to divide up into weeks. So I'm going to, like, this is my first week. Next week, I'll show you the blue. And doing stuff where I divide it up like that, it really you know, you just put a little bit of time in each week and you'd be surprised how much you get done, because all the stitching I'm showing you, like I'm doing all of this. Sometimes I think you guys think I'm not, but I swear I am stitching all of this. And I love the fiber on the whim. I think it's beautiful. It is a little bit, I don't feel like my stitches are as pretty as when I use a stiffer Aida, but I think that it's going to be so beautiful once it gets framed. And I do think on these pieces, I might show a little bit more on the frame instead of like right here. I might put the frame like right here, just so hopefully a little bit of the color variation shows. So again, this is espresso 14 count, and this side was a little bit darker and this side was a little bit lighter, so I started on this side. So I'm gonna start this, and I think I'll be done in the middle of the end of July, something like that. So I'm gonna now show Maynia, or I'll answer a couple questions. Let's see. Beth says, would 14 count be okay for season 2 year of celebrations? Of course. And you just need to have a piece big enough. The reason I'm using Prim is it's so pretty, and it comes as a big piece, so I knew I could fit it on there. So yeah, 14 count Aida would be perfect. It's very beginner friendly. I would just say make sure you have a piece big enough. And Karen says, with the exception of silk floss, does all cotton floss start out the same? And if so, why would one brand be better than the other? So DMC is made in France. It's been being made, I think, since the 1700s. And it's a great floss. It's easily available. You can pretty much get it at any craft store. And I use that a lot. There are over-dyed flosses, and people use those because they like the variegation of the colors. And Cosmo is made in Japan, completely different company. Aurifil is made in Italy, completely different company. So it's just different companies. I'm sure they have different processes, but honestly, what I try to do on the live stream is show you all kinds of different floss, and just try to show different things. And whatever you love is what you should do, and whatever can fit your budget is what you should do. Shabby Rose, I asked last year if there was going to be a cross-stitch companion to the My Happy Place quilt. Can you tell me if it's still on the drafting table? Yes, it is, but it has not been started. So basically for Lori Holt, we have these timelines. We're already working out into 2024. So it has not been drafted yet, but we have to space out her stuff because she has a million ideas. And we could release all those millions of ideas at one time, but it would be too overwhelming. And we want to release them where people can actually do them, complete them before we do the next one. But it is in the works. And I know Lori's in the chat, so, and she does control what goes first and what goes next. So she'll get to see that. Katie says, will Kathy's colors look good on the Prim? Yes, and I'll actually pull the thread and pull the fabric real quick and show you how it looks so you can see. And her colors are beautiful. I just tend to change things so that they match my house more. That's all. So this is the Prim. I don't have a piece that's not stitched on, but she did use this color in here because she's actually the reason we knew there was a new color. So she uses amethyst. For amethyst, I think I've changed that to pinks. I don't think I have any purple in mine. We do have 3 greens. There's 3 greens in here, I believe, or we might have added a green. But my reds are more pink. My copper's more orange. It's not used very much. I do have 2 yellows. I only changed one of the yellows. So these are, I'm trying to put the color. So see, she has 3 greens here. And I also have 3 greens. And then she has 2 purples, and I used pinks. So let's see. So that is how it looks. So it would look great. I think it would look great on there now that I've Made a mess of this, sorry. Let's see what the next question is. Michelle, will I explain the sticker set? Yes, it's coming up soon. I'll show you in a little bit. Crystal says, I hate to ask, but I looked on my blog, on your blog, and couldn't find which lighted magnifiers you recommend for stitching. My husband is tired of wagging around the light. So I use the Halo Go. I can never remember the name of it, but you do have to log it around, but it lays flat. I have one over here. I'll show it to you. I brought it in from the car this morning, or actually I think I might have brought this one in from my desk because after live stream I'm going to be stitching, so I brought it up here. So this, I have about 5 of these. It's ridiculous, but it sits flat and then it does this. This is what I use. So when I go to basketball games, I don't take this inside. But what I do is we always have breaks. I stitch in the car. Kevin sleeps and then he snores. I watch true crime and we stitch, and then our kids think we are so... All the other parents stay inside and socialize, and they're like, Mom, like, you don't know anybody. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to know anybody. Anyway, this is my magnifier. This is what I use. Now at home, I use something, it's called like 3.0, Omega 3.0, something like that. And that's attached to like a little table. And Kevin clamped it with a piece of Shannon fabric that the color kind of matched the table, so it wouldn't be so obnoxious. And then the softness, it would hopefully not scratch the table. The table I have in my bedroom though was like $40 from Home Goods. I get so much furniture at Home Goods. I went to Home Goods, this is funny. So on Saturday or Friday, I can't remember. I went to Home Goods. Oh, it was Saturday morning. So Peyton had basketball practice, and so last Saturday I got up at 6:15 because Emma had 5 girls spend the night. So I thought all 5 girls needed to have Starbucks before they went to dance for 7 hours. So I went and got Starbucks, came back. And then Peyton needed to go to basketball. So of course I stitched in the parking lot of the basketball instead of going in the gym because, you know, I don't need to work out. I'm too lazy for that. Then we went to Starbucks again because I need to get Starbucks, and Home Goods is right by Starbucks. So I went to Home Goods and I found the cutest little thing, and it's like this little cart, and I was like, oh, Peyton, we're gonna get this. And he was like, no, like I thought I was just he's like, you're not really gonna buy this. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. He was like, oh my God, Mom, I had to put it together. And I was like, yeah, you do. Anyway, it was so fun. Okay, sorry, I'm distracted. Tony Stewart, will the expression fabric package do all 4? Espresso package do all 4? I think it only uses, I think you can have to buy 2 packages. We just placed an order at one time because I wanted them to be from a similar color lot. Do I enjoy cross stitching more than quilting or the same? It seems like you do a lot more cross stitching. I do a lot of quilting. I do a ton of quilting. I like both. I find that in this stage of my life, I do cross stitch more because I'm never home. I'm like in parking, I'm like Uber. That's what all the moms call their kids. Like, they're like, you're my Uber. Like, that's the thing that people say now. We're never home, so I can't quilt when I'm in my car, but I quilt at least 10 hours a week, at least, like, if not more. And I can obviously quilt, I can cross stitch at work too. So I am excited to stitch the granny squares on the Stitch quarterly bags. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cute. Isn't fiber on a whim loose, not stiff? Someone was giving me that as a suggestion to try 40 count. So I would say fiber on a whim is soft. It is definitely not loose. So it is a very high quality Aida. It is not loose, but it is soft. So it's just, it's not gonna grip. But you know, my hands don't get as dry when I use it. So there's benefits. How long does it last after being charged? Oh, about 3 or 4 hours, but I have a charger in my car. So I think 3 hours. Thank you to Valeria Bauer for my super chat, and to Paula Shattuck. And then really Teely, wow, that won by 80%. I'm shocked, wow. Thank you for voting, that's crazy. So I'll use that. Can I suggest a 14 count Aida that would be similar to 28 count Star Sapphire? Email Cheryl, CHERYL at fatquartershop.com. She can probably tell you in about 2 seconds. I love Halo Go, but have had issues with the power cord. Have to keep buying new cords, but otherwise happy with it. Anyone else have a challenge or solution? No, I haven't had any issues with that, but I would definitely contact Halo Go. I would definitely email them and like send them photos because they do have a warranty, so I would think they would stand behind it. So now that I've shown you kind of things that I'm planning for the summer, and of course we are going to have Jolly July, and we will be showing what I'm going to be doing on that later in June. So I have a ton of stuff planned. It's going to be a great summer. I am going to show you Maynia now and what I finished, and I'm also going to show you Cheryl's pieces. So for Maynia, what we decided to do here at work is, in previous years, I've put my Maynia projects within my other books, but then when we need to go back to find Maynia, it just takes too long. So we put it in one book. So let's see. Home is where the wreath is. I'm going to show you all of mine. So I have H, the wreath, and I did put top on most of them. This took about 6.5 hours. This only took about 2 3/4 hours, and then this one took 7 hours. And then E is for this week. Or was, I didn't write down my time on this one yet. So I'm going to send these to Priscilla to finish. And then this is also going to be a sew along for starting in June. And what I'm doing, this is swappable right here. So this is evergreen, meaning you can leave this up in your house at all times. It would fit any season. Priscilla and Chelsea are the designers of this. Again, Home is where the wreath is this pattern. They have a Wreath Swap 1 pattern that has swappable wreaths for January through June is Wreath Swap 1. Wreath Swap 2 is July through December. And I am doing that as a stitch along. We have a thread pack for it, and we do have plenty of those in stock. And so at the end of June, middle of June, I will have June done. And I am going to be displaying mine horizontally in my house because I have a spot for it. So super excited about this. Super, super, super excited. So this is my first Maynia. My second one, I'm almost done. This is Spring Awakens, and I'm actually going to show all 3 of them together when we're done, just to kind of show you how they look together. So on all of these designs by Summer House Stitch Works, I stitched on the Espresso 14 count. Her models are beautiful, and they're stitched on 40 count. So you can see her fabric is a little bit lighter, so her bird shows up a little bit more than mine does. And this one, all I have left is this little strip. I did kind of start part 6, so you'll see there's 6 different, I guess, divisions on this one. The next one is Winter Cometh. I'm going to put them next to each other. And they all use different DMCs, but each one just uses 3. And the same thing, I started part 6 so that I just have a little bit left, of course. I always do that to cheat, so at the end I can be almost done. And then this one is Summer Refreshes that I showed you earlier. And then obviously, let's see, spring, summer, winter, fall. So I'll do the fall when it comes out, or autumn. I'm not sure which one she'll do. The only criticism I would give is here, mine doesn't pop out as much right here. So I could pull all of those stitches out and redo it. So you guys let me know in the comments if you think I should. I don't know. It's just reading very light, but this one is amazing. I think it looks great. And I love that they have the little bird. It's been so much fun to stitch. The next one does have a bird also. No, it doesn't. It has a house. House will be fun. So this week I'll finish these two. And like I said, on these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch all 4, and I'm going to take them all 4 to get framed at the same time. The next one's my favorite. This is Summer Home Mystery. I stitched this on the 14 count thin white pine board. And this one is a one-time purchase, and this Friday you will receive part 4. And then you'll be done. And this one I'm gonna get framed. And what I think I'm gonna do is do a really fat white frame, like something that's very feminine. That's what I think I'm gonna do. But I love this one. Of course I love it because we designed it here, but I think it looks really good. And I think the size is really nice. We wanted this one to not be too big. So we won't have a finishing video on this one. And home is where the wreath is. I'm sure Priscilla and Chelsea will have some type of finishing, or they'll refer to one of their previous videos on that. On my home design, what type of floss did I use, and did you stitch horizontal or vertical? Your stitches look great. Also, did you railroad? Okay, so I'm going to talk this one, and then I'm going to talk about Priscilla's, because I do have tips on both of these. So we're going to zoom way in on this one. This one is stitched with Classic Colorworks. And I'm going to show you right here, it's a little messy. But here, I don't know, right here it got kind of messy. And I kind of thought about taking the stitches out, but I didn't. But on here, I stitched horizontally. And then when I added the next piece, I stitched horizontally. So you can see right here a little bit of a break in the house, which you wouldn't see if I would have stitched it as one, but I think it'll look fine when it's framed. But I think you were asking about this one. So what I did on this one is I really took my time. The first thing I did is I did a half stitch outline on the full letter. And then, let me see how I stitched, I can't remember. Horizontally. So I just stitched horizontally this way, came back, and I went from the top to the bottom, and I did railroad most of the stitches. Probably not 100% of them. I will say, when you look at it, when you look at it up close, I really took my time. I feel like my E is not as good. But I was doing this one at a basketball game. And I did use bamboo. That's one thing that I did do, is I'm using bamboo instead of 12 grain. And the reason why is I already had a lot of bamboo. I love bamboo, and there was a shortage of 12 grain, and I didn't want to wait. So, so that's that. The next one is Cut Sew Press, which I did also almost complete. I cheated like I always do. This one is by Lori Holt, and this is so cute. I love this one. I'm going to try to frame it similar to what she did, and we did list on the frame how she framed it. Now, what I did is, like, for example, if I was stitching green here, I would stitch a little green square. If I stitched like pink, I would stitch pink. Yellow, yellow. And then now what I have to do, all I have to do is go back and add the spool tops and spool bottoms, and that's going to take me like 30 minutes. So totally awesome. This one hasn't taken very much time, so let's look in my book and see. This is like 1.5 to 2 hours each, and it's really, I love that it's so cute and so small. So that one is almost done. So those are my Maynias. Now next week I'll show you all of them finished. But now I have CHERYL'S, and CHERYL'S you guys are going to love because they're totally different than the ones that I did. So this first one is called Love is the Key. It was a market exclusive to Teresa Kogut. And there she had it, she had a sample that she had started. So this is actually a digital image. And Cheryl is stitching hers, all the called for colors or called for flosses. She's stitching on 36 count Afago. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Fiber on a whim. And she is stitching 1 thread over 2 squares. And again, this is 36 count. And as she finishes these, she will definitely bring all her finishes in. And you can see, like, she really challenged herself. I picked really small stuff. This is Spring Quaker by Lila Studio. Sorry, we're going to scroll down to look. Okay, she's stitching on 40 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. And so since this is 40 count, 1 strand over 2 squares. And she's using all the called for flosses, and then 40 count Fiber on a Whim. Okay. So now I'm going to move to all my whips and all my progresses and all the things. Look how big this is going to be. Oh my gosh, it's going to be huge. Flea Market baskets. I cannot stop making this. I love this design. This is probably one of my all-time favorites. I am having so much fun stitching it. It's designed by Lori Holt. I'm stitching on 25 count Lugana, which is what the sample is stitched on. So this week I stitched basket 6, and then I did all of the gingham here. And since I had yellow out, instead of putting the last little strand back on my DMC card, I just stitched this and this. And what I'm going to do is, before next week, just to get ahead even more, I'm going to stitch these 2 just for fun. I don't have any, I'm not scheduled to stitch anything, but I just want to finish this gingham. And then as I stitch each basket, I'm just going to add a bunch down here so that I can finish this probably September, October instead of in December. I am just loving this. I think it's going to look really pretty framed, and I'm just anxious to finish it, and because I love it so much. I do think I'm going to be sad once my gingham is all stitched, though. And a lot of you have finished this one, and I think when I see it finished, I'm like, oh my gosh. It makes me want to finish it. So this week I also worked on Glitter House, and I am halfway done because there's 9. So super excited that I'm halfway done. And then in June, you'll see this house. I'll do this house. Now this one, let me see how long it took me. I know it's number 16 in the book. Sorry, number 23. It took me, these take me about 10 hours, 8 hours. So when I made this house, it took me 11.5 hours, and now this one took me 8 hours. So we'll zoom in so you can see my stitches. I was a little bit concerned because the church is white, but I think my stitches came out okay. I'm not sure how I'm going to frame this, but I do think I'm not a gold person at all in any way. I'm not like a gold, but I think having some kind of silver or some type of metallic somehow in this piece is going to be needed on the frame. So I'm enjoying this one a little bit more than I was because I'm getting the hang of it a little bit more. But once I get 6 done, that's going to be awesome because then I'll only have 3 left. So you'll see this again in June when I get house 6 done. And speaking of all my books, I have one more book. I was going to show you how I stay organized. So this is the first book that I started for 2022. And anything that has a number over here means I finished it. So this book is done. So it does take me a lot of time to do this, but I always have a way to go back to see what I did. And it's a great record keeper for somebody like me who in a couple years, maybe I'm going to make something that I want to match. You know, maybe I love the threads in this one. Well, I can look and see what threads I used instead of trying to guess. So this was my first book. My second book is kind of wasteful, but it's our Maynia. And the reason we keep it separate is it's kind of the only way to stay organized so that we can always find Maynia, and I put FQS Stitch May-nia here. And then I've already started my second book. So I will have at least 3 books for the year. So a lot of you ask how I stay organized, and this is why. Maybe if I didn't spend so much time writing in my book, I would be even more productive, but I don't know. So those are my journals, and I have stickers on the outside just like this. I just know in my head this is the first part, this is the second part, and then this one I'll probably put an M on it. And then Barn Sweet Barn is part of Flea Market Baskets. So I had so much fun stitching that star that we came up with Barn Sweet Barn. So the pattern is the center here. The colors came out at the beginning of the month, and June's colors will come out next week. So June 1st, and it'll be on our blog. So this one right here is our original sample. This one was stitched on buttermilk, DMC thread, and this is a barn that we sell from 141 Design Company that we stained. This is a house from the Dollar Spot with a little wreath from Walmart, hot glued down. This fabric right here is Lori Holt's Bee Cross Stitch, and then this one I stitched on Daisy instead of buttermilk. So just something fun. We're trying to think of what we're going to be doing next year, because obviously you guys have loved this, so we're going to come up with something similar to this for next year. What I love about it is it's a quick stitch. It doesn't take very much time, and it'll make great decor. And then, speaking of cute stuff, we made some ribbon for Priscilla and Chelsea. So this ribbon will be coming out in June, and you can either buy them individually or as a set. And these two right here are 3/4 of an inch wide. They're 5-yard spools. There's a ticking stripe and a gingham. And then these two spools are both 5-yard spools, but they're double the size. They're 1.5 inches wide, and they have wire in them. So this will be great to make bows for your Barn Sweet Barn, any of Priscilla and Chelsea's. And if these, so again, you can buy them individually in June or as a set. And if these sell great and you guys like them, and they get good reviews, we'll move to different colors like gray or whatever, whatever they want. So these are on our coming soon page, and I'm going to leave those there because I have something to tease. They're going to look great with that. So maybe you guys can figure out what that is. They let me tease that. And then we came up with Stitching with the Housewives month-to-month stickers. So there's going to be a sticker set. They're going to come like this, and they're going to be available in June. They are a set of 12 different stickers. I'm going to put them out so you can see them, that coordinate with each of the month-to-month pattern series. They're durable. Now these are prototypes. These are not the real thing. So they are durable, weatherproof vinyl. So you could put them on your car, you can put them on a Yeti, and you could actually put them on a Stitching with the Housewives bag. And the reason we came up with these is you put them on your bag and you'll remember what's in your bag. And we didn't think y'all would want 12 different bags. So, and they're so cute. So thank you to them for letting us put together these stickers. So we're going to zoom out a tad. There, that's good. They're so cute. And then this will be a one-time run. So we're making them locally, and once they're gone, they're gone. So I hope you like them. It's something total. Both of these things are just totally different for us. We love to work with Priscilla and Chelsea, and we know these are things that they would love to have. So we put them together, and hopefully they'll be successful. I was thinking of putting one on my car, just putting it on there, with not really sticking it down, or just pranking my kids, or putting all 12 on there and then just making them just die. And I'm just gonna be like, oh, well, you can get a different Uber if you want. I just think that'll be so funny. I mean, yeah, my kids, I don't think they think I'm so funny anymore. I think I'm getting on their nerves. So these will both be out in June. And then I'm going to show you new stuff. We haven't got too much new stuff, but we have a couple of new PDFs. We have more than normal because last week we had a guest. So Betsy Ross Flag Company. So Berry Sweet. And then this one has a bonus pattern, Patriotic Jarful. And I love this one. Love, love, love this one. So these are new PDFs. Jan Hicks has a new samplings of lace, and she does these by the season. So this is summer. Nutcracker Village, you might have noticed I didn't stitch it in May, and I just had too many other things to stitch. So I will catch up with that in June. So this one is music. It says Merleton's Music Store. And then I love these. These are Primrose Cottage stitches. And they're what I love about them is they're on cardstock. They're full color. And they're very inexpensive. So Firework Kisses. Liberty and Love. Established 1776. Land That I Love, and United We Stand. So those are brand new. Those came in this week. Are the stickers the color match for the charts? The stickers were designed by Priscilla. So they're not 100% match, but it's because she hasn't designed all of them. So they're just an inspiration for what she is going to design. And she worked with those with Cody, our artist. So those are all her designs. And then Prairie Schooler has a new, this is an old pattern they re-released called Halloweenies. And I think Cheryl has stitched these. I'm pretty sure she has. So if she has, she'll bring them. I wanted to show you the Well Hello There because this was discussed in the live stream last week, and I've made most of these. I think I have all of them made except maybe 2. So I'm going to dig them out. That will inspire me to finish them in terms of framing them. But it's a booklet and it has Hello January through Hello December. I made these about 5 years ago, but last week when she brought it up, I didn't have it in stock, so I reordered it. Cottage Garden Samplings for 2022. She's doing A Year in the Woods, and the Bald Eagle is the next one in her series. These have been very popular. And I showed you Summer Refreshes earlier. And then she has a series called Fragments in Time, and these are two of them. This is 3, and this is 4. Oh, this is cute. Jardin Privé is they're from France, I believe, and this is really cute. It's like a little cross-stitch typography type pattern. And then Madame Chantilly, she has Beach, Land of Liberty, and Summer. And then the last, we have a few more. This is August Quaker from the Heart. And of course, Cheryl's going to stitch this one. And if I had to guess, I think she loves these colors. So I think Cheryl's going to really love this one. Erica Michaels, A Shepherd's Care 1. Boardwalk Review, and The Salty Mermaid. So that's what I've got today. So now I'll answer any questions you guys have. Let's see. Sharon asks, is the samples of lace beginner friendly? I'm trying to think of what that was. Did I just show that? No, that's hard. It's beautiful, but it's hard. Definitely not beginner. How do I keep track of my time? There's always distractions, get a drink, phone rings, use a stopwatch, an app. So I use this little app. It's like a free app, and it just says, it's just like a time tracker. And I kind of think maybe I shouldn't do it, but I just do it. Now, I don't talk on the phone much. The only person I talk on the phone with is Lori. But I usually like set aside time. Like I know when I go home between, my kids are at basketball or music between like 6 and 7, they're not even home. So like when I get home, I'll go home to where I have an hour. I kind of schedule it where I know I'm not going to have too many interruptions, and I get up really early on Saturdays. One of my kids gets up super early. He gets up before me. He gets up at like 6:20. I don't know what he's thinking. But he doesn't wake anybody else up. He tells me he wakes up because his brother annoys him and he needs time without him. And I think that's hilarious because his brother doesn't annoy him. I think it's the other way around. Cut, press, sew would definitely be a beginner pattern. Maria Elena Blecka, I don't understand. I stitch on 14 count Aida. What other fabrics could I use that my eyes could see, similar to 14 or 11 count? So I think 14 count, 10 count is the biggest holes, but I think 14 count's pretty easy. Kathy Rackow, for Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Autumn Lane, what 14 count cloth? Okay, email Cheryl at fatquartershop.com because I know exactly what pattern you're talking about. It's a bigger pattern. And she can actually look and tell you what they used. Oh. Deborah says, maybe second cross missed on top of wreath on the church. Well, we'll pull it out and see. Okay, we'll zoom in. Where? Oh, I did! Thank you for catching that. Oh, my word. Right there. Oh, my word. I missed 3 steps. Thank you so much for telling me. I will fix it. Oh, my gosh. Can we put a note in my bag so I don't forget? That's so embarrassing. Oh, my gosh. Ah! Have I thought about doing a beginner crochet book with Lori? Yes, we have talked about it. But, yes. Whatever Lori wants to do, I'll do. Lynette says, if I were to pull out the color, what color would I replace it with? So I think she's talking about the Summer House Stitch Works. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, they said, should I pull out my stitches? 56% said no and 43% said yes. Wow, that means maybe I have to do it. On the press and sew, do you have my spools right on the bottom? That row, the top and bottom rows are not done. So that was just, that's the last part I have to do for this week. So yes, I'm going to finish that. I have never used Aura Floss. How many strands? There are 6 strands and it's on a spool. It's slightly thinner than DMC and I love using it because it does, for whatever reason, it does not provide, it doesn't knot when I stitch with it. Pamela says, when getting the fabric ready, I noticed you sewed a zigzag. Could you explain for us newbies? So we just use a sewing machine that has a zigzag stitch, and we make the width wider and the length slightly longer, and we just use a zigzag stitch. But you'll notice I don't do it on all of mine. I do it on my bigger pieces. You could also use painter's tape or masking tape, one of the painter's tape. Have I watched Our Father on Netflix? Yep, I watched it within the first 12 hours of it coming out, and yeah, that one's disturbing. And on Discovery Plus this week, a series came out called Two Shallow Graves. I watched all of it. It is amazing. It is good. Do I have stock in Starbucks? I should. Yeah, I probably should. I went there 5 times on Saturday. And 2 of those times Kevin had to take me, and I know he gets so annoyed with me. Okay, so Holly Martin asked, how is Piggy? And I have a picture to show you. Let me show you how my dog is. That is him. That is when he's hungry, he sits on my head. So he's so annoying. I cannot believe I'm showing that picture, but he was hungry. He's really good. Let's see. Kelly Hicks, when will the next Stitch Quarterly come out? June. Ilsa, I have a doubt about home is where the wreath is. I want to stitch at 25, but 1/1. Do I think it would be a good idea for a small space? I don't know how it would look on 1/1. I guess you could try it. Maybe do like a 3 squares by 3 squares, just stitch and see. I think it'll look good smaller. I just don't know about on 25 count because I haven't ever done that. Maria says, a long time ago you were making little table topper quilts for my bedroom. Somehow I missed them. Can I get some information on the ones I did? Yes. So they are in my bedroom still. They are in the first live stream of 2022 on the quilting channel. There should be photos of those there. And then thank you to Helen Merkus. Thank you for all you do, Kimberly. I love this channel. And thank you, Ashley. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you next week with lots of new stuff. Have a great week.